This is Fenson's Marine. Today we're going to build a Kitty Hawk trailer. The tools you'll need for this are a 9/16 socket, probably 2 of them, a couple channel locks, screwdriver, basic stuff. So the first part to building the trailer is disassembling it off this rack that comes like this. So you use a 9/16 wrench, or socket rather, to undo the bolts from the trailer, and so that's what we'll do. So these bolts that come with the trailer you don't need. You can keep them for spares, but I usually just chuck them. The axle's unbolted. They're held together by U-bolts. So I'd usually just kind of tap the U-bolts off like that, both sides, and it should come free. And there's the axle. So now just unhooking the frame, same thing, 9/16 socket on either side of the trailer. So the bolts and nuts are off the back side of the trailer. This piece of wood is holding them together. You should be able to just kind of slide this off. So now we're going to take the big nuts and bolts off. They're 3/4. This is where you need a 3/4 inch socket. So the back bolts are off. Now I'm going to take the front bolts off, but in order to do that, you need to flip the trailer back over. So it's going to pull these bolts off. Come off pretty easily. So now we're just going to take the bars out. Kind of slide them out kind of gently, otherwise you'll scratch the stainless. So this is my favorite part of building the trailer, is using a hammer. Kind of hammer these off. Crossbar that holds the 2 back ends of the trailer together. Big nut and a lock washer that go on first part of assembling the trailer. Take this rear crossbar and insert it through the big hole. The lock washer goes on the outside with the nut over it, and just put it on kind of loosely because you'll have to adjust it. I'm just going to snug these up real quick. I have channel locks on the inside holding the other nut on. Not too tight again. Tighten it more afterwards. Same thing on the other side. So I have these two on, these both sides tightened semi-loosely. Again, keep them loose because you have to assemble the tongue of the trailer, and if it's too tight, you won't be able to. Now we're going to assemble the tongue of the trailer. These are the pieces that you'll need for doing it. 2 9/16 sockets. We're going to assemble the tongue. Here's the tongue piece with the swivel, the bow, and just kind of place these 2 pieces inside here. You'll have to move them around a little bit. These 2 metal inserts are part of building the trailer, so you'll definitely need these, and I'll show you why. We'll start with the back part of the trailer here. Kind of just put that through halfway, like right about there, and then the metal insert goes in between the bolts, like that. So this bolt is kind of a nuisance to put on. You have to move the trailer back and forth to get it lined up, but once you do, it should look like this. And then the lock nut goes on this side. The front part on, but this is an important part of. So now we're going to install the chains that attach to the vehicle when the boat's riding on the trailer. Same thing, bolt through the middle. And now you're going to put this metal insert through the center of this and down through here, and the bolt should kind of look like this when they're installed. And now you can attach the you can go ahead and tighten these all the way. Go ahead and tighten the bolts on the back fully tight. And the way to tell that you have it correct is the outside of this nut will be flush with the outside of the crossbar. So it's flush there, however the nut the lock washer is not tight, so you need to tighten it from the inside now. Now both sides are flush. The nut is tight and the lock washer is tight. This is kind of a tricky process. You gotta tighten it from both sides to get it to be flush on the outside, as you can see here. This part is installing the leaf springs, 2 3/4-inch sockets, spring, nut, and a bolt on either side. They go through here. As you can see, there's holes for them. So you take the spring, insert it through there, other side through there. I always put the nuts on the inside of the trailer. Like that, and the axle slides on. See, it slips on. There's a hole here, kind of sits in that hole, and then you can see right here there's another little nub that sits on there. 2 U-bolts on either side and a backing plate for the U-bolts. With the U-bolts on, this backing plate slides underneath here like that, and the U-bolts simply slide over with a lock washer and a nut just to get it started. And tightening the nuts on the backing plate right now, and then we'll tighten it with a socket afterwards. Just finish it, tighten it with a socket. Don't over tighten it because you'll bend the plate a lot. Now we have the axle on, we're going to install the fenders. You need the backing plates, 2 on either side, and then the eye bolts, which will eventually be a tie down for the boat. Install the eye bolts first while we have the fender off, just through the top, and then the nut on the back side. We're going to just fasten this together. These are the backing plates. I put them underneath the fender. A nut, a washer and a nut to get it started. Thing on the front, I don't know what this hole's for. It's extra, I guess. So I don't know what this hole's for. It usually doesn't come like that. It's not part of anything, and I've never seen it. You have the backing plates on loosely. You can go ahead and tighten these all the way. Again, 9/16 sockets on both sides. Now we have the fenders on, and we're going to install the tires next. Keep in mind the trailer remains upside down the whole time. When you put these on, the narrower side of the nut goes on first and not the opposite way, like this. Okay, so now we're going to install the lights. Be sure when you install these that the lens is facing outwards because it is upside down. So it's going to look something like this. There's 2 clamps here. This one's going to go on this hole on the inside to hold the lights snug, and this bolt is going to go through, and we're just going to kind of get it started here. We're not going to tighten it. Now we're going to run the amber running / blinker light on the side. It attaches here. Cable on the inside. Next we're going to run the wire through the little hole right here on the side of the trailer. Just put it through and push it to the back to eventually hook up to the other light. Kind of pull it through, feed it through the hole like this while pulling it at the same time. Where my left hand is, you'll see it's snug right there. Put the lights on. Make sure that you put this piece on, the metal license plate holder on first, like that, because this is part of the bonding system for the ground. So we have the lights hooked up. Again, this is going to wobble around a little bit because we haven't put this other bolt through, but then again we haven't run the lights yet, so it's going to look like this until we run the lights through. Now we're going to install the wiring harness for the trailer. Before you run the lights, so you don't want to put them on the wrong side, if you look closely here, it says stop and turn green, GRN. The white wire, there's a little hole on the tongue of the trailer. Just put this, there's a lock washer and the flathead through here. When you have this on, you want the wire pointing upwards like that when you tighten it. So we're going to take this vinyl coated wire and run it through the hole because we're going to trace the wire back. Next up, the cables run through the trailer. We're going to tape the yellow and brown wire together with just electrical tape, nice and tight. The tracer wire and the extra wire. 2 people do this usually. Because the cable gets hooked right here, kind of have to feed it through by hand a little bit while somebody's pulling from the other side. So one thing I forgot to mention, and it's too late for the other side, but there's these little pieces of hose that slide through here and act as kind of a guide so that the wires don't rub on the stainless part here. You don't have to use them, but they come as part of the trailer. Same thing for this side. We're just going to electrical tape this tracer wire to the actual trailer wires. Again, nice and tight.